So I went and did it. Masked off with saran wrap for the most of the body, taped along the edges only. Black first, then dark gray, medium gray, light gray, whites, and done. And of course actual weathering too. This just came out of the bath, gave it a good scrub down. All the paint that's left should be pretty well adhered, and all the paint that's about to go down should be hitting a relatively clean surface at this point, so should have good cohesion as well. The test with the wings here was definitely worthy as a test, but as a final piece for finishing, no, there's more work that would need to be done to it, a second pass as it were. So these aren't glued in yet, but they are pretty much ready to at any moment. So you may be able to differentiate the putty line along here. The trick really works well, but I think in this case, because I just went real sloppy and had wrinkles on the plastic, that wasn't as tight as it could be. It may have been an issue of pressing further for longer. The amount of avas in the groove there was variable. I probably should be more consistent about that. So there was too much where it wasn't needed and not enough where it should have been, essentially. But overall, it pretty much went where it needed to. There's a little scraping off I need to do on the edges before I actually glue this in. And even after all the bath and stuff that I've given this now, paint is still chipping on these couple panels, it looks like. So I'm going to have to get rid of all of that before the next paint goes down. Otherwise, I had thought it was just about ready, but clearly it is not. Maybe I can just even the line out here and not have to go all the way down to the end and around. It's less chippable at this end now. There, so that should be just about good enough as long as I don't ruin it, don't breathe at it, don't do anything wrong from here on out. I may still have some problems in the future, in which case it's just going to be a matter of successive layers of masking until everything finally sticks where it's supposed to. And while traditionally I'd use tape or paper to mask things off, what I recently realized is that something like plastic wrap works really, really well. So I'm going to be trying that again in the immediate future on this guy. So glue the wings in, and then I can take a measurement on these, transfer this to the plaque, and then this is ready for mounting even though it's still being painted. And as to still being painted, here we go with the Orion. So on the top side here, there's going to be 3 different grays coming up to mask for. This is under 24 hours old. It's probably strong enough, but I'm going to let it sit a while more. And I gotta say, this is really compelling right now to me. There's a few flubs I had, such as the back wing here needs a little bit of a repaint. There's some overspray up here. Missed the wingtip there, a little overspray. Up here could use a little work right in the cockpit there. This little guy, whatever it is, could have been masked just a little better. So dark gray, medium gray, light gray, and then the basic white that's here, if not a couple really light grays. And so a major problem that I found when I was unmasking this is that I recalled that these fiber optics are not set in place on the inside at all. Typically you'd use white glue or something similar to marry them to the surface. In this case they're not. These are just kind of sitting here poked into their LED ends. So if these get pulled, they come out of the LED end and they never go back in until this body gets cracked open. So with that in mind, I'm being really careful about what's going on with these guys, and essentially when the time comes, I'm going to pull the tape off, snip them close, burn them down to hopefully get a blooming inside where they belong, and then put just a dab of super glue over them to kind of melt them into place. There is a little light leak going on down here in the wings that I would not have thought of. But I said go for it, don't worry, and that was that. So this picks up all sorts of little dust from everywhere, and I want to really give that another 24 hours to give it 48 to 60 total before I'd really touch it. So that means I can work on this guy for a little bit.